My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
So I'm done with the half sister. This is completely different. Methinks this woman will switch her story again if the royal family decided to throw her a bone. She's really angry at the royal family right now. Still has it in for Meghan. Notice how she claimed she's sure the Sussexes must have behaved badly but has no example. Same old story. So who is that? Okay, she's not happy that KP sold her off to the Daily Fair with that Kitty Great victory storyline when they said Tatler lost after KP was going to sue them. Okay, this one is kind of long. It's 2 minutes. Where is it? 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Alright.
Monarchy works, and especially how they treat incoming women.
Part of why I really wanted to talk to you is because of your Tatler profile of Kate, which I thought was just so fantastic.
Well, yes, it was the beginning of lockdown, and I was asked by Tatler to do a colourful piece on Kate, and what they didn't want was a puff piece.
Great.
And this piece created the most enormous backlash. I just could not believe it. And one of the things that was levelled at me was that I had said that Kate was perilously thin. I mean, as I was thinking of Tom Wolfe and New York Social X-rays or Hollywood stars, they're all size zeros, they're all perilously thin, and that's kind of a compliment. Yes, my piece did have a very snobby side. I'm writing for Tatler. It was an article I thought would be sort of tossed aside by, toffs in stately homes in Britain. And anyway, everyone went berserk about that. And Kate and William said they were going to sue Tatler. So I had 4 months in which I was rung up by the Tatler managing director and told, and I had the world's media saying, please, can you speak? Please. And I was told, please don't speak. So for 4 months, I did not speak, which was very annoying because I had another book to publish and everyone wouldn't interview me because they said, we can't talk to you unless you discuss Tatler again.
Nightmare.
Nightmare, exactly. That aggrieved me even more. I cannot discuss Tatlergate. And this is really interesting in light of what's happening with the media and the palace today. So I remember vividly, it was a September Thursday evening, and I was rung up by Louisa Parker Bowles, Camilla's niece, who was then managing director of Tatler, and she said, don't worry, it's all been sorted with the Condé Nast lawyers. William and Kate, they're not going to sue. But the one thing is, you absolutely must not discuss this. So you can imagine my consternation on Sunday when I go and get the Sunday newspapers and front cover of the Mail on Sunday is Kate.
Wait a second. So she got the green light from someone who has nothing to do with what she wrote, instead of hearing it directly from the person, which is William or something like that. It's just a tactic, a scare tactic. That's all it was. When they said they're gonna sue you, I don't know why people all of a sudden afraid. If you have the facts on your side, what's there to be afraid of? So the Camilla's niece, who the hell is she? I don't even know how she looks like. Call her to say they're not gonna sue, they settle this and whatever. So you take it as face value? I'll be like, no, I'll discuss. You know what? That's their problem. Let's continue listening to that BS. Let me read these two, and then once this audio is done, I'll move on to the next. 1000%. She also will have never said anything if it didn't impact her bottom line. Yeah. Okay, so let's listen to this, and after that, we'll move on.
Victory over Tatler, double page spread on me, absolutely,
my God.
Yes, and I knew that Tatler hadn't leaked it. I knew that I hadn't leaked it. So I knew that the leak had come straight from Kensington Palace. And a year later, the journalist who was asked to write the piece verified that William had rung up the editor of the Mail on Sunday that Friday morning, and somebody from his office went to have lunch with them, and they planted that piece. The royal family manipulate the media. I'm talking about the print media, the British print media, in a way you simply would not believe. So, for example...
Okay, so when Harry said that, you people didn't believe him. And there you are until it hit you, like the squad was saying, hit her bottom line. All of a sudden, now you believe it? Oh, my Lord.
Criticisms that you've received is that, well, okay, fine, you want to move to California, you want to step back from the institutional role, why be so public? You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife. You know, the family motto is never complain, never explain, but it's just a motto, and it doesn't really hold.
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
Endless.
Private, being done through leaks.
Through leaks. They will feed or have a conversation with the correspondent, and that correspondent will literally be spoon-fed information and write the story, and in the bottom of it, they will say that they've reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment. But the whole story is Buckingham Palace commenting. So when we're being told for the last 6 years, we can't put a statement out to protect you, but you do it for other members of the family, there becomes a point when silence is betrayed.
Example, in the mainstream press, it is verboten to write a piece in support of Meghan and Harry.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife.
Wait. So when you say, they must say this narrative.
Oh, damn. I wanted to hear all of a sudden. It was getting good. Let me go into it and see if there's more. Sometimes they put dub. Oh, you see? There it is. It continues. Let's listen to that. The royal family manipulate the UK media to write a puff piece on Kitty, and literally minutes later, you'll see some nonsense about the Sussexes. That's why I've changed my mind about the Sussexes. All right, so let's see. Who's this? That's why I've changed my mind about the Sussexes. What was your mind originally? Okay, let's see here.
The royal family manipulate the media. I'm talking about the print media, the British print media, in a way you simply would not believe. So, for example, in the mainstream press, it is verboten to write a piece in support of Meghan and Harry.
Wait. So when you say, they must say this narrative about Meghan and Harry, I mean, you mean this in the way that journalists all sort of move as a pack, right? It's not an actual dictum.
No, it is an absolute dictum, spoken and unspoken, that the newspapers do not want and will not print pieces that are wholly positive to Meghan and Harry.
Wow.
And you cannot write anything negative, really, about William or Kate.
Briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife.
This is because they're monarchists at the core?
No, this is because of the deals that have been done between the palace and the editors of these papers.
Really
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
Endless.
Private, being done through leaks.
Through leaks. They will feed or have a conversation with the correspondent, and that correspondent will literally be spoon-fed information and write the story, and in the bottom of it, they will say that they've reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment.
If you look at the Telegraph Act, you will see 4 or 5 pieces in absolute eulogising praise of the Princess of Wales. And then the chances are on the same day, every piece about Meghan and Harry is negative. They literally take a baseball bat and bash this couple to pieces.
About how the media inflames this. I was called by the Sun newspaper. If you don't know what the Sun is, it's
got the topless girl on page 3. That's all you need to know.
And they called me about a month ago to ask if I'd write about how Meghan was like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family and the arguments between Meghan and Kate. And I said, I'm really sorry, I'm just not privy to all of this. I don't think I could do it. And the commissioning editor was really twisting my arm to write this article and say, but you could say, couldn't you, that X happened, and you could say that she's fired all her staff, and you could say that Kate has said this.
Then the chances are on the same day, every piece about Meghan and Harry is negative. They literally take a baseball bat and bash this couple to pieces.
And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't know that, I can't do it. And this conversation went on for about half an hour, and I didn't write the article, but it just gives you an insight into how this whole thing is is being, the flames are being fanned by the media.
You've heard the phrase
view.
cottage industry. This is a palace industry. Yeah.
And it is because of this that I have completely changed my view towards Meghan, but also towards Harry. So when Mexit happened, I thought, well, it was ill-conceived and they were acting in probably quite a petulant way, and couldn't they have made it work? And what I have seen from the books that I've written about...
Okay, so this quote here, that's why I've changed my mind about the Sussexes. So that's what this woman said. I thought it was the squatty. And I was like, what were your thought before that? Because you should have known already. So it's the person who's talking. I don't know who it is who's talking in the video. That's very interesting. Let me move it back slightly.
Way, and couldn't they have made it work? And what I have seen from the books that I've written about the monarchy is that the reason the British monarchy has survived and prospered when other European monarchies has failed is they are utterly ruthless.
Damn, I need to hear more still. Okay, remember this BS, KP approval. Victory for Kate Middleton as Society Bible Tatler cave in on its cool, snobbish, woman-shaming demolition job by deleting bobs about Carol paper and a poster of Prince William on the future Duchess's bedroom wall. Tatler has cut huge swatch from its online profile of the Duchess of Cambridge after the Society Bible was accused of publishing a string of lies. The magazine has caved in and removed almost a quarter of the piece, in particular cruel and snobby bobs aimed at Kate's mother Carol Middleton and sister Pippa. It comes after Kensington Palace instructed its lawyers to demand the inaccuracies and false representation be removed. Oh, there's more. Oh, so okay, I didn't even know I was gonna stop. I was just curious there's more. Okay, wow, this be all right, this be and holding back now. Ignore that B who said some crap about Harry's wife. Okay, let me see, we all here. How long it is? What in the name? Okay, so after this I'm gonna stop, and then the next tweet that I'm gonna share with you will be on the next video. So let's finish listen to this. Okay, she don't believe that video. Is that the one? Okay, I read this and there's that. Okay, wow, this B and holding back now. Ignore that B who said some crap about Harry's wife. Okay, 1 minute and 26 seconds. Very interesting.
Spotlight on the monarch and the heir, and anybody else who comes into the picture and takes too much of the oxygen or too much of the limelight, you see is pushed out. We saw it with Diana, we saw it with Fergie, we've seen it with Harry and Meghan. They were too threatening as a unit to Kate and William.
But isn't Meghan so frustrating? I mean, isn't there a part
let me
of you
pause for a
that's so
second. I'm gonna move it back. The thing is that okay, it's fine. Okay, let's set the mindset of them. Someone else is taking the spotlight. It's fine. This is their system. It's whatever. But the thing I cannot understand, this is the thing here for me. They are not doing anything significant to get the spotlight themselves. Look at this. Harry and Meghan left. What have they been doing ever since they left? How many years now? They left 2020. Now we are in 2024. 4 years. What have they been doing since then? Nothing. Just garbage, nonsense that keep on popping up. Okay, we don't even know where Kate is, if she's alive or dead. Okay, they did that BS thing with the photo, with the market thing, and what was the other thing? The fake video of that I saw from CNN about the cancer thing. What have they done that is significant? They deserve the spotlight. Nothing. Oh my Lord. Okay, so let's move it back. All right. He literally pushed his brother out to get the spotlight, and now you can see him. You will see on video too. There's some tweet regarding that. The squad are asking where he's at.
You've seen it with Harry and Meghan. They were too threatening as a unit to Kate and William.
But isn't Meghan so frustrating? I mean, isn't there a part of you that's so frustrated by her entire persona, I never Googled my husband before I met him, or do you actually now look at this?
What the hell? You frustrated by someone who didn't Google somebody else? Look at this. I'm covering them now. Okay, my channel pretty much almost dedicated to them now because of the BS that I keep on seeing. I knew her existence. Do I ever look? A lot of the squad are the one who's telling me things that not heavy, but Meghan used to do prior marrying into the royal family. I didn't know. I didn't bother to Google her. From what I've seen, she was too busy to worry about the freaking king and prince and all of that. You see some of the things that she's doing, traveling and then work. The free time that she had to work, what was she doing? Doing volunteering work and all of that. She didn't have time to Google Prince Harry. I didn't even Google them myself. I knew of their existence. When something is happening, you can't miss it because it was flunking all over the TV in the US. So these kind of things, I could understand Meghan. She didn't live in the UK. She had other priorities. Oh my Lord, what is these people talking about? Like Meghan's supposed to live, brave the monarchy, the Harry and stuff like that? Oh my Lord. Okay.
Entire persona, her, I never Googled my husband before I met him, you know, or do you actually now look at the stories that she's told and think, God, she was telling the truth all along?
Well, I actually think I do now. Would you need to Google Harry? I mean, he's so world famous. I mean, I don't know.
Quite refreshing for you in the way that you've been brought up, you know, with a lot of people knowing a lot about you. Was it refreshing?
Or thinking they know.
Or thinking they know.
Would you need to Google Harry? I mean, he's so world famous. I mean, I don't know.
Was it refreshing?
Or thinking they know.
Or thinking they know.
But I'm sure she has very self-absorbed tendencies, don't we all? But I do think what's incredibly unfair is that there was the tide turned, and I believe, Harry, that was instigated from within the palace. Mm-hmm. And you cannot fight the palace narrative.
And that correspondent will literally be spoon-fed information and write the story. And then the bottom of it, they will say that they've reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment.
And when you say the palace, I mean, who are we talking about? I mean, are we talking about Charles and Camilla and a couple of designated press officers?
Well, let me say that nothing is leaked without the nod from the principal. So, for example, this latest thing about William and Kate being snapped, being filmed.
Okay, it's almost like the court thing. All right, the royal rats were talking about it. I'll put the tweet, the video of that, where what's his name? Not Simon Case. What's the other one? Jason Knuff insert himself into Harry and Meghan's thing. Okay? Because he was working for William. And then all of a sudden, you want to give evidence against the opposite team to put Meghan down. I'm talking about the privacy lawsuit. Okay? And then the royal rats were saying it has to come from William to give them the okay.
Have been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Knaff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point, unless, I mean, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definite knowledge.
And then next thing you know, he got a medal for it. But I'm moving it back again.
Couple of designated press officers.
Well, let me say that nothing is leaked without the nod from the principal. So, for example, this latest thing about William and Kate being snapped, being filmed by a member of the public in the...
Okay, so let's continue here. Let's pause. She don't believe that video, which was taken by a bystander. It was all done with KP Palace Way Authority, LOL. 2 minutes and 30. Everything is coming out. What is it? 2 minutes and 38 seconds. This one is slightly longer.
So, for example, this latest thing about William and Kate being snapped, being filmed by a member of the public in the Windsor farm shop.
It's been 12 weeks since we saw any footage of the Princess of Wales, but now here she is, walking with husband Prince William, carrying her shopping and smiling and looking relaxed.
An onlooker in Windsor said Kate was out shopping with William and she looked happy and well.
I do not believe that for a second. This was set up. It is a deal with the Sun The conspiracy theories are off the Richter scale. And suddenly, guess what? We've seen Kate. And a member of the public allegedly saw her popping over to the Windsor farm shop, to sell lovely produce near their base in Windsor. And there is William and Kate on a Saturday morning, William in his baseball cap, buying bags of bread and carrying it out.
The Prince and Princess of Wales, just like thousands of other couples did this weekend, dressed down on their shopping trip, and onlookers said they looked happy and relaxed.
Now, firstly, if a member of the public had really filmed that and sold it to a paper, the palace would have seen that as an invasion of privacy and would have come down. This has not happened. There's absolute silence in the palace. But of course it's been set up. Of course it's been arranged. Although I did agree with the BBC journalist who looked at the picture of Kate and said, are we sure that's Kate? I mean, God knows.
So what about Kate's hospital stay? I mean, how do we interpret this? Why has it all played out like this?
I think that the king has handled his cancer and his illness pitch perfect. He's told us what's going on. We've seen photographs.
I'm sorry to say, I don't even think Charles is sick himself. Too many things going on right now. They just need to stay in the back so they don't get dragged along with what's going on. All right, so let's continue.
Of him, he's doing the work that he can and he's keeping in touch with the public. Why she had to manufacture this photograph, God, I just don't know. So I'm as a loss like everybody else.
This photo released by Kensington Palace over the weekend only made matters worse.
How did a simple photograph of a supposedly happy Princess Catherine and her children turn into a worldwide photoshopping scandal?
Another plot twist in the whodunit Photoshop saga, with the Duchess herself claiming responsibility for the DIY job. Saying, like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused.
My intuitive response is that she was told to produce a happy Mother's Day photograph and she cobbled something together. It obviously wasn't properly censored by the palace. But one thing is for certain with the palace and the British...
Oh, damn. Is there more? Okay, so there's that here. Breaking news. Now she's believed that Kitty made Meghan cry and the story is absolutely ridiculous. People dying worldwide and this is a big news. There's that here and the UK press. Really? Oh my God.
The truth about a lot of these stories. So, for example, the Tightgate story.
Tell people what that was.
So Tightgate, I mean, this is we're so mad in Britain that this becomes front page news. There's people dying all over the world, but whether the bridesmaids at Meghan and Harry's wedding wear tights is like the most important matter of the day. I was told that Kate and Meghan had this row over whether the bridesmaids should wear tights because Meghan is very Californian and thought the little girls didn't need to wear tights, but Kate is rigid, which is why she's such a good member of the royal family. And the protocol that you always have to have your legs encased in these.
And the thing is that wasn't even her wedding. That was not her wedding for her to have a say on that. I mean, I could understand you suggested, but if Meghan said no, that's it. And then if you don't want your kids to participate, it's also okay to pull your kid out. My goodness.
Really unattractive, beige nude tights or whatever. And anyway, so they had a row. And then both sides say that the other made each other cry. So Meghan's story is Kate made her cry, and Kate's story is actually Meghan made her cry. But what's interesting is nobody came out from the palace and backed Meghan's story, and yet they came out and they backed Kate's story. In one sense, it's all such ridiculous froth. I kind of slightly disgusted myself for even having this conversation because it's so absurd. But what I think there's a deeper meaning and a deeper context, which is there is definitely no question in the British press an absolute movement to discredit Harry and Meghan and the need to bolster William and Kate, and they have to be sanctified in the press and they are these saints. Kate wears a jacket and there's a whole thing in the Telegraph of the way the Princess of Wales has reinvented the blazer. I just find it so painful in a way for the Sussexes, and I'm not saying that they didn't. I'm sure they've behaved badly, and I'm sure there's
they were just living their lives and they were doing things accordingly. It's just that because everything that they do, it sort of communicate with regular people. Okay, so the palace hated that. Okay, Harry and Meghan didn't do anything bad. They defend themselves. That's what it is. Okay, someone just like the brother came and put his finger in Meghan's face, and she said, "Get your hand, your finger off my face." I forgot how she put it. Okay, so that pisses them off. Defending yourself is not behaving badly. So the perpetrator should never have started. That's what it is. So everybody's talking now. That's why they're not coming out. They're hiding because the truth is coming out. I don't know. Do they have some sort of a shame in them? I don't think so. And then once they come back, they're going to repeat the same BS again. I'm talking about the royal family, William and Charles and all of them.
Of spoiled, entitled behaviour as well. But I really do feel that Harry was absolutely on the money when he said we had to leave because once this tsunami of bad press comes against you, it is very, very difficult to rise above that.
I mean, I think you're right on trend. Harry was not a historic figure.
And the thing is that woman who's talking, she was part of that problem. It's just now, all of a sudden, I don't know, the light bulb went on. I don't know what happened to her for her to speak the truth because Harry pretty much have said everything. It's just now she's reaffirmed what Harry have said. She was part of the problem. Let the blind see, I guess. Some of the prayers are coming to life. I move it back slightly.
A lot of spoiled, entitled behaviour as well.
No,
but I
don't think so.
really do feel that Harry was absolutely on the money when he said we had to leave because once this tsunami of bad press comes against you, it is very, very difficult to rise above that.
I mean, I think you're right on trend. Harry was not a historic figure. And now, well, look, she's Wallace Simpson, right? She's somebody who will be remembered 100 years from now.
All right, to come in here for a minute, Wallace Simpson, if you don't know.
Wait a second. Harry was always famous. He is the son of Princess Diana. He would always been famous. What is shit? Am I missing something here? These are people, I believe, from the UK. William would always be, in the history book. But for what purpose now? Now that they are men, they're not children anymore. Now they're showing the world who they are. Now they're going to be seen differently. Okay, but even still, let's say both of them were to be, except for William because he was destined, but if they were private citizen afterward, they will still be known as Princess Diana's children. It would always be in the book. I don't know what this woman is talking about. Okay, let's see here. Let's pause. She comparing Harry's wife to Wallace. There's no difference here. The only thing is they both American. That's all. On the part of the couples were very modern and attractive, and they didn't want Edward to be king, so they discredit Wallace just like they do to Meghan and the press to make those other looks good. All right, so let's see here. 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Oh my God, it's a lot. I didn't know. All right, so that's gonna be part 2. Okay.
Interesting, the parallel with Wallace Simpson, because when I think that what's happened to both women is that there has been an establishment bid to discredit them. So I decided about a decade ago that I wanted to make my purpose to rehabilitate women whom history had treated badly, and that's why I wrote this book about Wallace. And what was fascinating to me was when I did a deep...
Okay, with what she's saying now, I don't know who she is. I would like to know who she is and then look in her past what she's talking about, because it seems like she was part of the royal rats in some shape or form, because not telling the truth, okay, which added to part of the type of the tabloid the UK has now. This is what I'm getting, and something must have happened. Now all of a sudden she's talking facts, okay, but I don't know who she is. But anyway, let's continue. That's allegedly. I don't know if she was part of the royal rats type of things.
Dive into her genuine character and was able to penetrate her circle and people who knew her and were still alive. The Wallace I encountered was completely different from what I would say her fictional alter ego is. So, everyone had this narrative that she was this domineering, pushy bitch who wanted to be Queen of England and stole a beloved king from his throne. I couldn't have encountered a more different woman, but... Okay,
so this is the thing here. With Meghan. If Harry and Meghan then stand up for themselves and tell their side of the story. The UK is good at that. Manufacturing a narrative about someone and make it as if it is fact. Okay, whatever it is that they feel about someone, they create that narrative, and then throughout history, people like myself now, because I'm in the future during Wallace's time. Okay, so if I read her story, it will be the manufactured version of the UK. So this is what I've been saying. When you look at some of my old videos, where I talk about Meghan, the I think Tom Brower or something, the nonsense that they're writing about Meghan, that's why I said it's not for us. Because we living the now, we see what's going on. They're writing it for our great grandkids. The nonsense that they're putting about her is when our great grandkids are reading about Meghan and Harry. These are the BS they'll be reading. Okay, so this is the same thing I see with what is this, Wallace? Okay, now if she had spoken and tell her side of the story, maybe I will have understand. But the version that the UK wrote about her, I don't believe it. Okay, I don't believe it. But anyway, so this is a perfect example of what I talk about Meghan. Okay, I think in one of my PYT videos, the thumbnails, I said this is for the future or something like that. But anyway, so let's continue. So this is why Harry and Meghan have to tell their side of the story. Princess Diana had to tell her side of the story. All of this. And then you have the son, William, come out and discredit the...
I would like to thank Lord Dyson and his team for the report. It is welcome that the BBC accepts Lord Dyson's findings in full, which are extremely concerning. That BBC employees lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia.
But Princess Diana already told her side of the story, the truth. And we've seen Charles' side of the story as well. You know, giving interview, looking straight into the camera, lying to his teeth.
The most damaging charge that is made in relation to your marriage is that you were, because of your relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, from the beginning, persistently unfaithful to your wife and thus caused the breakdown. What is your response to that persistent criticism?
Oh, that's the persistent criticism, is it? Well, and the trouble is, you see, that these things, again, as I was saying earlier, are so personal. It's difficult to know quite how to, to talk about these things in front of everybody. And obviously, I don't think many people would want to. But I mean, all I can say is that there's been so much speculation, feeding on every other kind of speculation, that it all becomes bigger and bigger. I mean, all I can say is that I mean, there is no truth in so much of this speculation. And Mrs. Parker Bowles is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
Okay? Creating a different version of things. And then you have Charles has his minions, spreading his version of an event around the globe. The BS of nonsense. And then if you don't stop and think and put one and one together, okay, the BS he was saying in the past, and look at it now with that side. Okay, so that's that. Let's listen.
The establishment did not want Edward on the throne, and so the whole bid was to discredit her as a way of getting rid of him. And now I wonder, well, are we seeing an exact echo of this? I don't think that Meghan's like Wallis Simpson, because Meghan had it all. She had the royal wedding, she had the HRH, she had the now king walking her up the aisle. Poor Wallis didn't have one member of the royal family at her wedding. And Wallis was incredibly dignified. She never once spoke out about her royal in-laws.
See?
She had far more grievance than Meghan.
This is the thing that I'm saying here. I didn't even know she was going to say that. Okay? Wallis never spoke out, so nobody will know her side of the story. Okay? But if she didn't love what is it? Was it the king or something like that? If she didn't love him, she would not stick around. Okay, so they wanted to get rid of the king. The same thing is happening. Okay, the same thing is happening. So let's continue. Okay, let me move it back again. I'm telling you, it's not the royal family who's running the show. Men in grey suit.
HRH, she had the now king walking her up the aisle. You know, poor Wallis didn't have one member of the royal family at her wedding, and Wallis was incredibly dignified. She never once spoke out about her royal in-laws, and she had far more grievance than Meghan, and she retained this absolute loyalty to her husband and to the monarchy while feeling incredibly injured. And I felt, well, you know, Meghan does bleat on about it, or has bleated on Oprah and The Cut and whatever. But now, you know, 2 years later, I'm looking back and I'm thinking, well, is this a repeat of history? She is being discredited by the establishment. She is being discredited by the broadsheet press in this country. She hasn't really been given a chance. And it seems to me that there is a great similarity. And people have always said, oh, you're going to do Meghan next. And I always said, no, I wouldn't. Well, maybe in 5 years I will, because she does need rehabilitating.
Tina Brown said to me once, like, she is a go-getter, Meghan, right? You've seen Tina say this publicly. You know, why is that so bad? She's an American. She's a go-getter. And the machinations are very obvious to people who watch this kind of thing. And the way that she's sort of gone from like, okay, well, I'm going to try to be high up in Hollywood. I'm going to try to be the next Shonda Rhimes.
What's bad about that?
Wallis Simpson, because
what's bad about that? Motivated, inspired to do good for herself. What's bad about that? As long as she's not using other people to do it. She's been doing it on her own, at her own way, and dignified way. When you see what's happening now in Hollywood, all these people, their past is coming to haunt them. And one thing I remember I know it wasn't reading. Maybe I heard her say it. Usually, after she does, let's say, big deal or no deal, or some other, she went to do, how do they call this? When you're reading a script to get the part or something like that. You know, usually after she does her thing, okay, she's next to the next thing. Okay, she's going to the next gig, see if she could get the part and all of that. Okay, she never sit around waiting for people to give her things. And then another thing that I learned from her, she never go to those parties. And this is why you don't see some of her past coming to haunt her, because it's during those parties, okay, people putting videos and all of that to entrap people. All right. So these things have been going on for a very long time. So this is why you're not gonna see these things coming back and haunt her, because she never participated in those debacles. Okay, she was professional, and when she sees a true character, a personal person, you know, a cast member, understand them, and then like that, like Sarah, they hang out and all of that. But besides that, you don't see her going to all of this nonsense. To give favors once they entrap you, okay, and now they're showing you the video of you were enjoying yourself, and then they try to put you in a compromised position, and then they force you to do certain things. If you don't do this, then that is gonna come out. If you don't, she never put herself in those situations. So to be inspired, to work hard, to get what you need and want, it's not a bad thing. I don't know why they think it's a bad thing. Not everybody's like that. I'm not like that in that kind of way. But anyway, let's listen. Oh my God. Okay, they're clearly jealous of American Riviera Orchard because they know it will be massive. All right. 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
Do it at American Riviera Orchard. You know, it seems like, okay, I'm settling back down to where I can sell things. So there's a sort of undignified way in which Meghan has gone about this process. But you may be very right that she was up against a brick wall, and instead of just knocking her head against it, she said, I'm just going to get out of here. This is not worth it to me. I'm an independent 36, 37-year-old woman who does not need this in my life. You know, I've got my husband, we've got a bit of money. Let's just get out of here and try to make it on our own.
Well,
let's not forget, and also with the help of William. Okay, William, well, it seems like the goal was to get Meghan out of there, but they didn't expect Harry to go along with her. But the thing as well, these are some of the things Meghan have been doing on her own prior to meeting Harry. So Harry knew what he got. So he wasn't, the institution wasn't for Harry. He wasn't gonna inherit anything. So Harry had nothing to gain for staying in this miserable type of life. And this is why I keep on saying, when they were dating, that opened his eyes. And he saw the people Meghan hang out with. Throughout their courtship, you didn't hear a damn thing. It's until he was ready to get married and start telling people on his side of the family, and things went haywire. But in Meghan's side, nobody was talking. Her friends and people they hang out, they have dinners, who knows what else they had. Nobody spoke out. And then once Harry told his side of the family, you see what happened. And then now they try to get Meghan's co-star to talk against Meghan. They didn't take the bait. All right? I'm talking about Simon, Rex Simon. All right, so let's move it back.
Well, I've got my husband. We got a bit of money. Let's just get out of here and try to make it on our own.
Well, I think that you make a very good point there. I think that it became so toxic for them. I think that they could not access the truth. Harry absolutely knew that, you know, the palace were leaking stories about them, that the narrative had to be, to discredit them in order to refocus the spotlight on William and Kate, that there was an envy after their successful foreign tours. They had star quality as a couple, just as...
And the thing with the palace, going back to a previous thing they said in another tweet, is that where she made the reference with Wallis Simpson, and is that the same thing that's repeating and all of that? Okay? William is their guy. William is the type of king that they want. Okay? So this is why they're trying to do all of this and try to get rid of some, probably the father and all of that. So they're gonna end up losing everything. All right? They want someone they could control and manipulate. And then you had Charles, who have no clue. They mold him to be that weak of a person, and then William is completely the person that they want. And then I'm afraid for his son now. You have a son who probably I don't know. God help them. That's all I could say. God help them. Send that same miracle you sent to Harry to those kids, not just the heir, all of them, because they need help. I don't see any of the parents will do anything any different. So because they don't know any better themselves. So let's continue.
Diana did. No question about that. And the royal family don't like that. If you're not the monarch or the heir and you're getting too much attention, it leads to trouble. And that has been shown historically. I mean, what's really interesting is after the abdication, one of the things that just made my heart bleed for Wallis Simpson, but actually made me realise how incredibly perspicacious and emotionally intelligent she was, is she said that in those days, of course, you didn't have internet trolls and everything. She had literal hate letter coming, and she said, every morning my world falls to pieces on my breakfast tray as she received all this hate mail and death threats. And she said, I knew the truth about myself. My friends knew the truth. I knew that I couldn't convince anyone else, so I had to live with that. So she came to a kind of internal arrangement with herself about who she was. Now, you could say every celebrity in the world might benefit from trying that. If people don't want to see, hear, believe, experience your authenticity, they're not going to. And she knew she was up against this absolutely...
I guess this is, slightly similarities with Meghan, because Meghan, once she tells her truth, she bounces. You either believe it or you don't. But she's not gonna fight with you, convince you this is what happened. She tells her truth and then she's gone. Look at what the sister is proving Meghan right again to that kind of thing. Taking her to court and do all of that, and the judge doesn't see anything wrong with what Meghan said. Okay, Meghan says her truth and then she bounced. So that part I could understand with Wallis Simpson, because like she said, there was no internet, there's none of that. But the palace, the thing that is consistent with the palace, boils people's blood, make you feel certain way about someone they don't like, and then they, just go watch that video that I have regarding the tabloid. I'm glad I look into that, because this is how they always been. They use the media. Back then it was only the newspaper, so they use it to the best of their abilities. And who knows, maybe it was on radios as well back then, okay, to attack anybody they don't like. So with William, what I believe, the moment he pointed his finger in Meghan's face, this was where he was trying to break into Meghan, okay, to make Meghan comply to his stupidity. And then the moment he did that, Meghan put a stop on it, a stop to it, like, don't put your finger in my face. I forgot the exact quote, but you know what I'm talking about. And that crushes him. So now he went on the attack. Okay, before I said, when all four of them were sitting on stage, where Meghan, well, that race, okay, maybe I'm still on the same path here. I was gonna change my mind, but I think it's still in the same path. When four of them were sitting on stage, where Meghan was talking about her, women don't need to change their voice or whatever. I'll put the clip because I don't remember the quote.
I think what's interesting is I hear a lot of people saying, when speaking about girls' empowerment, finding and knowing their worth, or women's empowerment as well, you'll often hear people say, well, you're helping women find their voices. And I fundamentally disagree with that, because women don't need to find a voice. They have a voice, they need to feel empowered to use it, and people need to be encouraged to listen.
And I said, this is the moment where everything started. It is true. Now, the pointing finger, okay, was a way to break Meghan, to start breaking her into pieces. And then Meghan put a stop to it and said, get your finger out of my face. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, that's not the exact word. Okay, so that crushes William, I think. It did not work. It, in fact, backfired him really quickly. So that's when he went on the hate campaign. Okay, now I could put everything together now. When four of them on the stage, they were talking, Meghan was saying her thing, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then that raised William's antenna about, oh, she's getting into that family, she's that type. And then the finger pointing was a way to start chopping her down. And it started to work, but however, Meghan put a stop to it. When he realized, I think William is afraid of Meghan. He is afraid of her, because Meghan doesn't put up with her with his shit. So he sent his minions to go after her for him. And then now you see everything else is crumbling down. He's gonna lose everything. He's losing his mind, because all of his tactic is not working. It worked on other people, but not here. And then let's not forget our prayers. Okay, all the squad around the world. Okay, I'm definitely gonna move this back.
With herself about who she was. Now, you could say every celebrity in the world might benefit from trying that. If people don't want to see, hear, believe, experience your authenticity, they're not going to. And she knew she was up against this absolutely ruthless bastion of power.
Right. I mean, it's so funny to me hearing you talk about all this and the control that the monarchy has over the press, because I grew up in Dubai, which is not known for being a bastion of democracy, let's say. And
oh my goodness, each time they stop, there's a very good, interesting topic. Kitty is very controlled. Okay, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Oh my lord.
Personality is like behind the scenes.
Well, that's a really good question, and one that I felt that even in my Tatler article I didn't particularly answer, because I think she's very controlled, and that's what makes her the most perfect future monarch, because we don't really know what she's thinking, do we?
We want to shape fairer, safer, kinder, more equal societies. Societies that seek the common good and a better future together.
Okay.
She just seems very dutiful, which is the main.
They just wrote some BS for her, and then she go and recite it over there, and she can even do the speech properly. Okay, so she is what they wanted. Like I've said in one of my videos. Okay, my thumbnail said they got what they wanted. Why are they copying Meghan or something like that? Okay, she is the perfect person for the job. But what happened is that when Meghan got into the picture, now they're trying for her to be like Meghan, but she can't be. She was never trained that way since the time she was with her mother. They were training her to be what she is now. So this is why the palace okay with her. But the game changed when Meghan walked into the royal family. Meghan could do speeches. She could do all sort of things. She's like they say, go-getter and initiate stuff. She can't. She can't. How long she's been in the royal family? What have she done? Talking about freaking baby brain. Psychology is not easy.
American Riviera Orchard, you know,
main ingredient for success.
Okay, so let me move it back.
Particularly answer, because I think she's very controlled, and that's what makes her the most perfect future monarch, because we don't really know what she's thinking, do we?
We want to shape fairer, safer, kinder, more equal societies.
Okay, now I get by controlled, because they're controlling her. Okay, I was getting it the other way around. Okay, I thought she meant that she's like together and knows what she's doing. Nah, they're telling her what to do. So that's what I get. Okay, the second time sounds much better. I understand it. Oops, sorry.
Societies that seek the common good and a better future together.
She just seems very dutiful, which is the main ingredient for success in the royal family. And she never really lets slip any sort of real character traits, does she? I'm sorry, I know I'm going to be pilloried for this, but I do agree with Hilary Mantel that she just does seem like the perfect mannequin.
And just to say for our listeners, so Hilary Mantel is this Man Booker winning novelist who kind of caused a big outrage in the UK, where she gave this lecture where she described Kate, as you put in your article, as gloss varnished, and then the press went crazy and said that this was a vicious and venomous attack, and even Prime Minister David Cameron had to come out and say something about this.
So when they get the perfect person, they don't want you to attack it, but your eyes, your senses, you see it. Look at me, I'm a couple million miles away, and I saw it. I almost misunderstood what she was saying by control, but I was pretty much saying the same thing as her. They're controlling her. She just recite things. Who the hell does baby brain when you have no clue about this? About psychology. Trying to look so sophisticated and all of that, but instead you're just proving how stupid you are. My goodness. Yeah. So that person was telling the truth. They went after her. But let's continue.
Lecture given by somebody else, which one of the big sticking points for Meghan was that the palace wouldn't sue or wouldn't stick up for her after her letter was published. And yet they'll come out swinging for Kate.
I think that's absolutely right. I think Meghan felt...
Harry said the same thing.
Criticisms that you've received is that, well, okay, fine, you want to move to California, you want to step back from the institutional role, why be so public? You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife. You know, the family motto is never complain, never explain, but it's just a motto, and it doesn't really hold...
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
Endless.
Private, being done through leaks.
Through leaks. They will feed or have a conversation with the correspondent, and that correspondent will literally be spoon-fed information and write the story, and then the bottom of it, they will say that they've reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment. But the whole story is Buckingham Palace commenting. So when we're being told for the last 6 years, we can't put a statement out to protect you, but you do it for other members of the family, there becomes a point when silence is betrayal.
This is their biggest mistake right there, for not standing up for Harry and Meghan, and then allowed Harry and Meghan to go on their own to defend themselves. This is the thing. They're attacking them, and then they just sit back. But it's okay for them, the tabloid, to attack Harry and Meghan, but not the other one. If they had just said a simple word, but they're gonna lose everything. But okay. Oh my God.
After her letter was published, and yet they'll come out swinging for Kate.
I think that's absolutely right. I think Meghan felt really aggrieved by that they constantly put out statements about Kate, and when they didn't back up Meghan, and you know there's the absolute evidence for that. And I think that also, you know, the brouhaha over Hilary Mantel was absurd again, because for example, for a woman who's just had given birth to have to come out on the steps of the hospital looking pitch perfect with blow-dried hair, with her tights on, with her dress, and hold her baby, what Hilary Mantel was saying is that there is something completely dehumanising about that, and it is like being a shop mannequin, and Meghan wouldn't do that. And of course, instead of us all saying, gosh, that's so modern, and well done her.
Oh, damn. Each time it finishes very good. Oh, my God. She's spilling the tea. That was something I was thinking. But anyway. Oh, the letter. The letter being published. It was...
it seems like, okay.
You know, it goes back to the pointing the finger. Okay? And feel like he has control. He has to break Meghan. And then that backfired big time. And this is why Jason Kunoff, you know, was trying to give evidence against her. And then when I first look at the part that they took to defend the paper, and I was like, that pretty much proved Meghan's case. Because Meghan, when Meghan was talking to Kunoff regarding, she wanted to talk to him about certain things, the letter and all of that. Okay. Kunoff said, can I share this information with somebody? I don't remember. Just look at the screen because I know what I'm talking about. And Meghan said no. And 2 separate occasions. The first time she mentioned it, she said this is confidential between her and him. Him meaning Kunoff. And then at the end of the conversation, I think it was through text, back and forth. At the end of the conversation, Jason Kunoff was telling Meghan, oh, this is good idea. Yes, I like what you say here. But you forgot to mention certain part about you tried to contact your father. He was avoiding you and all of that. So Jason Kunoff suggested to Meghan to include that in the letter that she's about to send to the father. Okay? Because Meghan explained to Kunoff all the steps that she was going to do to prevent the paper, the letter being intercepted. Okay, so that must have gone through William, and then this is how the paper had a hold of it to know that there's a letter out there. Go get it, okay, and then publish it. So who told that? Okay, and it's the same thing with Omid's book. Someone went in and insert some BS in it. All this the same type of pattern behavior. Okay, so when the letter was intercepted, someone, okay, because only Jason knew about it, okay, and Jason works for William and Kate, okay, this is why the Royal Watch was saying William had to okay him to go into the court and insert himself into something that has nothing to do with him.
Have been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Naff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point, unless, I mean, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definite knowledge.
Okay, so all of this, it's making sense now. Alright, because William wanted to destroy Meghan. That's what it is.
Hilary Mantel was absurd again because, for example, for a woman who's just had given birth to have to come out on the steps of the hospital looking pitch perfect with blow-dried hair, with her tights on, with her dress, and hold her baby, what Hilary Mantel was saying is that there is something completely dehumanising about that, and it is like being a shop mannequin, and Meghan wouldn't do that. And of course, instead of us all saying, gosh, that's so modern and well done her, why should...
And let's not forget as well, during that time, maybe some people were aware of it, but not the vast majority. What we know now, their life was threatened. Okay, you don't know, you have all these cameras, you know, facing you. There was one picture, I do not have it, but I remember Omid shared it. He was in one of the crowd waiting to see someone come out of the hospital. I think William with one of the kids. Okay, he was showing us the craziness, all the photographers that were waiting. You don't know who's among them, okay, who's going to do something stupid. So Harry and Meghan did not want to do that. Okay, for other various reasons as well. All right.
You postpartum parade yourself in front of the world's media, and she did it at her pace, which I think I really understood. But no, she cannot be celebrated for that. She has to be absolutely eviscerated. Imagine if Meghan had had an operation and decided not to, or the decision was she wasn't going to be seen. Everyone would go berserk. They would be criticising her. They would absolutely flay her alive.
This is where I feel like this strategy falls apart, is because the press and media is not just the newspapers anymore.
Exactly, Natalie, you're so right.
And the other thing as well, this is why we have to give Meghan huge credit, where everyone around you, with the exception of Harry and her mother and her... The small...
I think that is what...
Which one is playing here? Okay. And people around you thinking one way, but she kept her core value. She didn't bend. She did not bend because she knew what was true, what was just, what was the, best decision for her. Okay? She didn't bend for these people who were guiding her into the wrong path. This is... Why do you think I make all these videos every day and I talk about the BS that's going on over there? Okay, because she need that defense. She didn't ask me. I don't even think she needs me to defend because, well, it's a collective of things. Because if the squad and many other people were not pushing back and all of this. But anyway, it's a different story. This is why I don't mind doing these things. Because her core value remained pure. She didn't bend. Despite the fact that, because majority of people will easily forget about themselves, knowing they're marrying into that huge family where the world had respected. But seeing what we see now is full BS. It's trash. Okay, so let's continue. Alright, so little at a time, many of these people will spill the beans.
The press and media is not just the newspapers anymore.
Exactly, Natalie, you're so right. And I think that is what has given the palace a real shock in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
That they have thought they are controlling the narrative, and they very much can in the print press and the news channels here, but not the social media. And that's why they're in such turmoil, because they're unaccustomed to this incredible backlash. And I think that they need to modernise really fast, and there's a kind of arrogant entitlement that says no, we'll do it our way. And then they had no idea that, as you say, if the public aren't fools, there is nobody, I think, unless they are blinkered to a worrying degree, who could look at what's going on and think, oh, this is all normal, nice, lovely royal family. She's just been a bit ill, poorly, and she's going to appear after Easter.
Right.
I mean, you'd literally have to have crawled out of a cave to have that view, surely.
Oh my goodness. I didn't expect this to be that long. Okay, Meghan not wanting to come out with her baby wasn't something that the UK media appreciated. They wanted to dehumanize her, just like they did to Kate and Diana. Yeah, this is like the Gladiator. They want something to just bash. The environment in the UK is so negative. They just want to bash. It's like a huge bully who wants to just hate. I'm telling you, evil originated in the UK. So I listen to everything. Okay, P.S. Don't go listen. It's all here. The lady Anna pissed off is clearly a Meghan hater, so don't give her any listening view. Okay, who's Anna picks off? Okay, I'll look into that in a few. Breaking. Apparently, scammy lawyer told Dan Wood that he approached Kitty for a statement. LOL. What? Okay, I want to know about this. After listening to this, remember what is it? The from the previous. I think I'm gonna turn what I've already recorded into 2-part, because I'm an hour and 30 something minutes. So that is gonna be 2 parts, and then I have more to share with you. I have all this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to share with you. But the thing is that at the beginning of the recording, there were parts where the sister is appealing the ruling of the court decision. All right, what is that? Oh, there's more tea here. No, let's stop here. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. These are completely extra things. I'll bookmark it, maybe another. Luckily, I already covered about the sister thing here. But apparently, she talked to Kate Okay, we would like to see how that went. Alright, so because the recording was so long, I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna do another video. Okay, so please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And I have a shop. Go check it out and see how you could help me. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching. So now I'm gonna do another video.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.